Hello. Welcome to planning. Always the most fun thing to talk about when you're writing a work, but it is critical. Now, before we get into planning, as I will do with all these videos, there will be a little introduction to SASC because, well, we're the ones putting on these videos, so we might as well make a bit of an advertisement of ourselves. This is what SASC does. We will check your work. So if you're lucky enough to go to King's University, and principally if you're in SEC, that's Science, Engineering, Computing, but honestly, if you're in the other faculties as well and the others, their equivalent academic success centres aren't open, come find us. We will read for your work. We can't proofread, so we can't check the content, but we can check spelling, grammar, punctuation. We can check the structure. We can give you very broad hints that you need to go and check the content with someone if we happen to have that sort of area of knowledge. And we can check the quality of the referencing in terms of, we can tell you broadly speaking if you seem to have enough. If you don't, we'll send you to the library and we'll tell you, and they will fix you. We'll fix it. Keywords to remember for writing. This goes for all academic writing. Content is critical. Content and context is usually some of the things I yammer on about. If you're ever lucky enough or unlucky enough, depending on your perspective, to end up in a lecture with me teaching academic skills. But it's all a lot. These are all important things to remember. Right. Planning. The critical part of getting ideas into a form others can understand and, most importantly, mark, because you're at university to get a degree. There are other advantages, and you can broaden your horizons in many ways while at university, but the primary purpose you're going here is to get a degree, which will hopefully get you into the career or profession you want to get into. That means you need to get some good grades. And to get good grades, you need to plan your work. Because the standards expected at university mean that planning, that's going to be useful. Okay, read the question. You don't want to know how many students I have this conversation with when they bring essays in to see me. They have done a beautiful piece of coursework, a beautiful report, or a beautiful essay. And the first thing I look at them and go, that's the question you've written at the top. They go, yes. And I look at the conclusion and I go, but you're not answering that question. And they look at me. And then we usually go through it with them for about the first 5 minutes telling me they are. And I explain to them that I'm not even a subject specialist and I can tell they've not. And do you know what's worse? Those students are usually some of our best students, because usually what's happened is they've got very passionate about a specific area they found within that question, that research area, and they've gone completely off talking about that area. No fault of them. It's nothing bad about them. It's good. We like students with passion. And it's good if you have passion. It will get you through your degree. But you always have to make sure you're still answering the question, because the sad thing for lecturers is we can only give you marks for things which answer the questions. Put together a rough plan first before doing your research. This is, again, a very good technique, because another thing that students end up doing quite often is overwhelming themselves with research. They will go and they will get a dozen books, 100 books out, or something silly like that, because they'll all be relevant and they'll all have things in their title or their topic scheme which makes them look relevant, and I want to read them all from cover to cover. That can cause yourself to be overloaded. That is when students start to really work themselves too hard. So, first together, come up with a rough plan. Look at the question and think what your topic's going to be. Then, find a key text. For this one, especially if you're in your first year or you're doing a dissertation, you might want to your subject librarian and consult with them as to what they think might be the best area for you to pursue on this key text. They will know the subject matter far better than anyone else. They also tend to respond well to bribery with chocolate. Not saying you have to, just saying it's a good idea. Using key text and rough plan, put together a better plan. Gather the more sources and write. Now, currently, I'm doing a series of PowerPoints and YouTube videos for SASC and academic skills, but I'm also doing them for my regular naval history content on this channel, my passion project, as it were. And so I have, as you can see, surrounded by books. There is this shelf behind me, and trust me, there are even more shelves over there. There's a shelf off that side. You can't see them, and I'm not going to show the camera around, but they are there. So, quite easily, I could pick off many, many books. But I've decided I'm doing the D class, the cruisers. And for that, I immediately go to these books, and instead of me going through them, because I've done a plan and I know I'm doing the D class cruisers, I will go to their index at the back. And I will look up, where are the D class cruisers? And if the book doesn't have anything about D class cruisers, or any name I do not recognize as a D class cruiser, 31 or 81. Trouble is, a lot of navies use the same names. Yes, there you go. So, from this whole book, this is the one page which is relevant for this whole book. I've done that using the index. I can do the same with the rest of these books. I can do that because I have done a plan. Luckily, I know the books in my own collection enough that I don't need to consult the subject librarian. I am my own subject librarian in that regard. And I will pick out a key text and I will use that as my exploration system to develop the work. Key text for this will probably be, well, again, it could be this big, thick, heavy book, but this is a very technical book, okay? What you want for a key text is usually a balanced book, a book which has enough of information you can develop from, but not so much information that you will get swamped. So out of the books I showed you, the one which would actually be a good key text for me, for this, would be this one. Okay, yes, it's got the title Encyclopedia of World Cruisers, which probably makes it sound like it's far more basic than it is. But it is actually very, very good and has a lot of content, and therefore I can go through it and I can find the D class cruisers in it, and I will have a very good content to go through. And in fact, the D class cruisers in this book takes up a good 4 pages. So that will be my key text. Then I will write it, and if you look elsewhere on this particular YouTube channel, you will probably find at some point a video or a couple of videos appear about the D-class cruisers. You can judge for yourself how well I do my own methodology. Right, next slide. So, thank you. I hope some planning has helped you, and have a nice day. Take care.